this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to use the hatching tool, and we're going to put that in our model here in layout space. Right now you'll see on my screen I've got a picture of a room with some doors and windows and wall types, and I am in model space. So I'm going to now switch over to the D-size layout tab. That's what it's called there. In here is just a title block, and you'll see two viewports. This top one is a bit smaller than the one at the bottom, the big guy. And I'm going to put some hatch patterns in the walls to differentiate the different wall types here. So the first thing I'm going to do is activate the viewport that I want to put this in. So I'm going to work in this big viewport. So I'm going to double click anywhere in there. And what you should see is the viewport is highlighted now. It's a thicker line. Okay, I'm going to go get the hatch tool. It's up there in my upper left window. Takes me to the ribbon for options for hatching. First thing I'm going to do is make sure I'm using a hatch type of a pattern. The next thing is in the patterns, I'm going to look for the ARCONC, that's architectural concrete. So this tells us the wall is going to be a concrete wall. The scale is 1 and the angle is 0. I'm going to use pick points for that, so it's over here on the far left. So I'm clicking that, and if you look at your command line, it says pick an internal point. So I'm going to go to this back wall here. That's the wall I want to show as concrete. So click once, that's good. So I just hit enter to continue, to make that finish. Okay, the second wall type is going to use a different hatch pattern. So I'm going to go back, get the tool again, hatch. This time I'm going to switch to the ANSI 37. I think that was just up a bit right there. So click on that one. This time the scale can be at 1 again, only instead of worrying about how it's going to work in this viewport, I'm going to click on the word properties down arrow, and I'm telling it to go relative to paper space, and that scales the hatch pattern relative to the scale of your viewport. So click on that guy. Alright, I also want to make this annotative, so that's an annotative scale, so that's this little picture there. Okay, and now I'm ready to do the inside portions of the walls that I want to use ANSI 37. Okay, so in this one I'm going to use, see that inside part there? So I'm going to go get pick points again. I'm going to pick there and the insides of this sort of double wall. Oops, it didn't like that one, so just I'm going to zoom in a bit there. There we go. You can see better what's going on. And it's just looking for a closed area. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out. Okay, that's exactly what I want, so I'm going to hit enter to apply. And then one more hatch pattern. I'm going to switch this one to ANSI 31. So I got to go get the command again. Go up 1, 2, there we go. ANSI 31, it's just angled lines, so I'm going to click that one. And this time I want to fill in the leftover portions of that double wall. I want the scale to be at 1. I want it to be relative to paper space, just like that last one. Okay. And I'm going to use the pick points for that guy as well. So pick points, come onto your screen. You can zoom in if you need to. And I'm going to pick that portion. All these little outside portions. That indicates brick, actually. There we go. And the last one. Okay. Happy with that. So now I just need to hit enter to finish that command. Okay, what you should see now are 3 different hatches, those 2 and then this concrete one in this viewport. Okay, I'm going to see the viewport still active. I'm going to double click outside of it and let go of that viewport. Now, if you look at these two viewports in layout space, you'll notice that the concrete hatch that we put in is showing up in both viewports, no matter what scale those viewports are. The two that we put in annotative and relative to paper space only show up in the big viewport, and that's what we wanted. Okay, and it's doing that because it's an annotative hatch, and this viewport scale was a 1/2 inch. See, I just click it once. The viewport scale is 1/2 inch equals a foot. If I want to see what the viewport scale of the smaller one is, you click on it once, and it's a 1/4 inch. So we put this hatch in relative to the paper space, meaning it's only going to do this viewport, not that one. It's a different scale. Okay, one more thing. If you want to make that concrete hatch not show up in the smaller viewport because it's really the wrong scale, all I need to do is double click on it in this viewport. So I'm going to activate the viewport. I'm going to double click on my concrete hatch. That brings me up to my hatch editor. And in this time, I'm going to change the scale of this one to 2. That just makes it a nicer scale. And then I'm going to make this one annotative. What it's done now is it made it so that it's only visible in this viewport. That's the scale that it was set for, not that one. Close your hatch editor, double click outside of your viewport, and you're done. That's it. Hope that helped.